Welcome to Let's Talk with Andy and Cath Taylor, a podcast from LL Ministries. And, well, today we are joined by our son, Ben.
Benjamin.
Hello. It's me, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Ben Taylor.
You are our middle treasure.
Yep.
How old are you? You're 20?
Yeah. Very
Your name's
confusing.
Benjamin.
Ben. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to say I'm surprised, to be honest, because I always thought Isaac was the favourite. So I was expecting him to be here.
You're such a...
But
Why
then,
would Isaac
now,
be the favourite?
But now that I'm here, I've now realised that I'm actually the favourite.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it
We
all
just
makes
better
sense.
make sure that Jake and Isaac don't listen to this podcast.
They never do anyway. So
No.
it's like,
Honestly, we do not have a favourite.
No.
Let's just make that clear.
no.
This is dangerous having him on this podcast. don't
It's
you think?
really dangerous. We've
Giving him-
already... It's
Give him a pet talk, but anything could happen.
just good you can edit it.
Yeah.
I've got a long list of embarrassing stories.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good. Well, we have brought you on today, Ben, because we want to talk about the youth of today and the challenge of young people walking with the Lord, and how we can best encourage you guys in your journey.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So am I still classed as a youth of today then?
You are.
That's all right.
Well, it's for anybody, isn't it? Like maybe younger, a lot younger than you or older. But I think the reason that we were wanting to do it really was because we feel like your generation has a lot of pressures and a lot of potential struggles. And I think more than anything, probably loneliness is maybe one of the bigger.
And behind all of
things.
that, a lot of potential. This is the
Yeah.
future of the church. So we need to get this right, don't we, in generational stuff. And I think we're not brilliant at doing it, in that we tend to just hang out with the people our age, and we need to work as a family unit, older and younger.
So come on then, Ben. I've mentioned loneliness. Do you think loneliness is something that people your age and younger are struggling with?
Yeah, I think obviously not everyone, but some people do. I think from a Christian point of view, definitely it's hard to find young people which have similar views to you, and you might feel a bit isolated in that way if you can't find other people, or if your friends have completely different views to you. Then that can be quite difficult. So for me, I went to a Christian school, and there were about...
sorry, you say Christian, but...
Well, I was going to go into that. Actually. Well, yeah, thanks. Yeah. Because there were about 300 people in just my year group. So obviously there's however many other year groups. But like I could maybe count like 5 or 10 other Christians that I knew.
Right.
Like it wasn't...
Yeah.
It wasn't an obvious... And it's like the ones that were Christians weren't obvious about it, because you're outnumbered, really, aren't you? You got
Survival mode.
299
Yeah.
people which all think that Christianity is stupid, and you have to go to church at the end of term and it's boring and all that.
Yeah.
Then it's just you on your own, like...
So what did
So-
what did all the others believe then? Did they have no beliefs, or did they just... Was there a general theme that other people
I
your
think-
age believe?
Well, obviously it depends. Like there were people which did have other beliefs, other like religions and whatnot. There's a few. I mean, it sounds bad to say it, but like maybe their families were Christian, or they went to church as a kid,
Yeah.
so they might still label themselves as a Christian.
Right.
But the fact is, they haven't been to church for the last 10 years, and they don't have anything to do with it, and they don't really care
Yeah.
at all about it. So
And that's the difference, isn't it? Like having a relationship with God
yeah,
is
exactly.
different to just
Labeling yourself
Yeah,
on
yeah.
your tax form
Yeah.
Christian. Yeah.
But
So,
the
Yeah.
bottom line is that's a challenging environment to be in, particularly in those school years where, you're trying to work out, who am I? Where do I fit in this world?
well, it's definitely seen as being not cool as well. Like,
Is it? Yeah.
because the thing is, they label you the same as the vicars in the big church that you go and see.
Right, which were really boring.
Really
and robes
boring, like
and-
not even just the robes, but just boring.
Right.
Difficult to relate
Like they're
to.
talking to like 14-year-olds,
Yeah.
and they're just boring. There's nothing about them. So if you say, "Oh yeah, I'm the same as him,"
Yeah.
obviously
yeah.
to them,
You're just weird. So
Yeah.
then I guess they would just think you'd been indoctrinated by your parents
Yeah.
or something like
yeah. But that's sort of the struggle, because in those teenage years, and I guess maybe a bit older or a bit younger, that's the time where you're becoming more independent.
Yeah.
So in those youth years, I guess you could call them, you're trying to figure out for yourself, who am I? Where do I belong? What do I want to do? What do I want to believe?
Yeah.
And it's the time where you sort of decide for yourself, well, with a lot of different things, with Christianity in particular, am I going to church because my mum and dad bring me to church every week? Or am I going to church because I actually want to go to church and I actually want to have a relationship with God?
Yeah.
And have the rest of my life.
It's a massive transition, that, isn't it? When you've grown up in a Christian home, and it's sort of always been part of life for that to be now your own choice. I remember that as a teenager, suddenly thinking, "Oh, hang on, I need to decide this for me," you know.
Yeah, and the difficulty comes because, like I was saying about the other kids at school or even at work or wherever else you might find other people, you've got everyone pulling in a different direction. So obviously in your head, if you've grown up in a church, you know, oh, I should follow that on. I know that's right, whatever. But then you've got friends that are saying, oh no, come do this, come this way with us. You've got people at work that are saying, no, come this way, do this. Even like celebrities, for example, if you look up to a certain celebrity that you see on TV and they're saying, oh yeah, look at me, I'm doing this. It depends who you sort of look up to, I guess. And maybe that's where the older generation can come in. And instead of looking up to certain celebrities, you can look up to people in your church.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's such an age where you need friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, and it's not a bad thing or a wrong, but it is so the way we're made for relationships. And when you're your age, younger, you need friends. You need people around you. You don't want to be isolated and just stuck on your own. You want to be having fun and
Yeah.
It's tough. And I think if you haven't got Christian friends around you, that's really, really tough, because then the fun, you want to hang out with your friends and have fun, but they might be doing stuff that is a compromise, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, for every generation, compromise is always there, isn't it? There's the option to compromise our faith, regardless of what age you're at. But I guess for young people, there's so much pressure to conform to what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's almost like swimming against the current. So if the current's all pulling this way, and you're trying to then swim up the stream, but obviously it's pulling you back the other way, and it's hard to sort of make any progress, it feels like.
Yeah.
Because it is hard to make a stand, and like I found that, to be honest, like it is hard to sort of bluntly say to people like, oh, I can't go out with you on Sunday because I'm going to church.
Yeah,
and they look at you and they go, like, what? Like, what? Why? But, you know, and to be honest, it can be hard and it can be difficult, and it can make people maybe. I mean, to be honest, it's probably mostly in your head for the most part, like thinking what people will think about you.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and they go, "All right, cool." Like literally nothing changes. Then obviously there are people where it does sort of change their opinion of you a bit. But in the same way, like as hard as it is, it can also be a great opportunity. Like you sort of, as soon as you make that stand and make it clear, oh, actually, I'm a Christian. Oh, actually, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. As hard as that is, as soon as you've said that, it sort of can open doors for different conversations.
Yeah,
because then they'll be saying, why this, why that?
Yeah,
it takes real guts, though, doesn't it? I mean, that does take guts to do that. I mean, we'll get later on we'll talk about how we can pray for young people particularly. But I think one of the things it's got to be for real courage, isn't it? That ability to say those things out loud with the very real possibility that you could be ridiculed for the next X number of years you're at school or at uni or whatever. So that's really a big deal.
I remember you, Ben, telling me about when you were at work, because you're doing a uni degree, aren't you? But you were working at the supermarket. And I remember you telling me that your friends had all been, the guys who you were working with, they'd all been out all night. And they said to you, and you said you were shattered because you'd been out
I'd been up all night as well. I'd gone to bed at 5 o'clock or something, I told them. And they were like, oh, wow, I've got less sleep than I have.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, where were you out partying?
Yeah, what club were you at? And I was like, oh no, we did a 24-hour prayer at church.
and then you told me that they just sort of went, oh, and then stopped
and completely changed subject straight away. Oh, did you see the football game the other day? Like, what? It was instant.
But I think the thing that stuck with me with that, because I thought, oh man, Ben, you're so brave. because I think we're all challenged. Like, you know, do we dodge the questions when you're at the hairdressers or whatever? So it's a challenge for all of us just to make that stand. But the thing that stuck out from it with me, Ben, is that you weren't like, and so here's the gospel and here's my preach and here's
ram it down your throat.
You shouldn't have been to those clubs. You should have been with me at church.
But I think that's really inspirational, because I think it is just that you're just speaking truth and you're just being you, really, because that was true. That was what had happened.
Yeah.
But that's enough. Like, it's just seeds sown, isn't it? You haven't.
Well, yeah, like almost just to go back over what I've just said. I don't want to make it sound like to make a stand against these things, you have to make it completely black and white. Like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Oh no, I'm not.
It's
whatever.
bad.
Yeah, like you don't have to completely separate yourself away from these people.
Yeah.
I like, to be honest, that could almost help with loneliness.
Yeah.
Like, you are allowed to have non-Christian friends. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't say in the Bible separate yourself from everyone and live in a cave on your own. Like, you know, you are
reading your Bible.
Yeah, exactly. You are allowed to sort of have non-Christian friends, and if anything, just the little stands that you might make, the little, oh no, I'm not doing that. Oh no, I don't believe that. Whatever, without ramming it down their throat, it can make a big, and they'll see the difference in you, and they'll say, oh, how come? What's up with that, Ben?
Why would you? Yeah.
Yeah, why is he a bit different? And then can open up opportunities for conversations and stuff. So
I think that's great, because that's the compromise, isn't that you just block and chop off people. It's that you know what your values are and what you believe, and you've never been anyone who's gone around saying you shouldn't be doing that because that's bad and that's wrong, and it's not about judging other people, is it? But it's about knowing what you're on.
But it just shows, doesn't it, how powerful you can be. How you can be a really powerful witness without having to actually preach the gospel every time you speak. Like, because if you did that, you would be isolated from those people. They would very quickly remove you, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So just by making the point without preaching it, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Or
actually, and then almost if they come up to you afterwards for the next few weeks and keep asking questions and
if you're still
else.
friendly with them, you're not, you're not holding up a cross in front of them saying "get behind me" and all this stuff. That you're still friendly with them and care for them and have a good laugh with them and chat about the football or whatever else.
Yeah.
So there's that normality to it. It does give that opening. So yeah.
So how would you advise people, or how have you found it yourself, like with compromising on things? You know, how do you just listen to people around you from church and decide what your values are on things, you know?
I mean, to be honest, it's probably different for everyone. For me, probably how I've been brought up, but then also different.
So perfect.
Oh, Ben.
Well,
let's talk about that.
I was going to say that.
Let's talk about your perfect.
I was going to say the problems came from how I was brought up, really.
Where's the delete button?
No, but obviously it's different for everyone, and you do sort of change your beliefs a little bit. You sort of, you pick up different things from different people, and you interpret the Bible in different ways to other people do. So, like, to be honest, I know people which do things which I wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that they're right and I'm wrong, or I'm wrong and they're right, or did I say the same thing twice? Anyway, like it.
Like so just so, like we're talking like drinking or going to nightclubs.
Yeah, or
that
like any yeah. But there's no. It is down to your own interpretation of things and whatever else.
And your own convictions. Isn't it? Not meant
to, exactly. Yeah. So, I've found personally that a lot of the times non-Christian people can be a lot more understanding than Christians themselves. Because if you say to a non-Christian person like, "Oh no, I don't want to go out to a nightclub," or "Oh no, I don't want to drink a beer," or whatever it might be, obviously it's more than just alcohol and clubs, but they're the examples I'm giving. Then they'll be like, "Oh right, fair enough." But if you say it's a Christian person who might believe that they're okay, then they're almost like, "Oh well, I do that and I'm a Christian, so." What's your excuse now?
Right.
So it's fine. It's a bit ironic, isn't it, that the pressure then comes from within your Christian.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah,
friends.
Yeah, the friends we're even saying that you need to go and find can be hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it ultimately just boils down to finding out what your beliefs are, like you do in your teenage years when you're becoming more independent and figuring stuff out for yourself. Find out what you believe and then just stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let other people sort of change that or manipulate
It takes
that
a
or
lot
whatever.
of backbone, though, doesn't it?
It does, for sure it does. So just, it would be helpful, Ben, for you just to sort of share how you feel like you get to that point of having that courage to be able to stand.
Yeah, well, I guess it's different for everyone again. Me personally, it's sort of, obviously I grew up in a Christian.
Are we back to the
loving,
perfect
yeah,
parenting?
well,
That's so
perfect,
good, Ben.
perfect to overstatement.
Talk about your mummy.
So anyway, yeah,
Moving
but
on.
I had grown up in a very Christian house. Like, you guys work for an international Christian ministry. Like,
Yeah.
I moved to different countries because of following God. So like, I always had a thought of like, oh, God's real. But obviously when I got to, 16, 17, whatever, there came a point where it had to be my decision and I had to choose it for myself. And yeah, I guess that's sort of where it comes down to, is that moment where you sort of say like, right, God, I'm here. Here's my life. There you go. Take it. Like, like the moment where you sort of make a stand and say, I don't want what these people are doing at school. I don't want what they're doing. I want whatever you have planned for my life.
So what was it that made you really want that, though? Like,
Well, I guess it's just, I'd always wanted that, but I'd sort of felt myself drifting a little bit. Like I was saying, with the current of people pulling one way,
Yeah.
I sort of felt like I was being pulled away slightly. So I guess it's just that desire to make it, it's not a 50-50 half-hearted following of God, where you go to church on Sunday, but then the rest of the week you don't care, you don't do anything. I wanted 100%.
yeah,
Boom, there you go.
It seems a little pointless, that, doesn't it, to have sort of one part of you is Christian and the other part isn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's like the whole lukewarm thing, isn't it? You
Yeah.
don't want to be lukewarm. Try to be hot or cold.
yeah.
Like, make a choice sort of thing. Don't sit on the fence. So I guess it just did come down to that, because it was sort of like, I was lukewarm. I was on the fence, sort of either way or the other. So I had to make a choice at some point. And I did make a choice, and I sort of went for it. And I think that's important, that you don't, when you do sort of make a choice, that you do sort of go with it.
Yeah,
And
keep going.
Yeah, and you don't just sort of, after one day, if lightning hasn't come from heaven and, like, it
The
doesn't
angels
matter.
aren't singing in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't give up. But yeah.
That's a really good message, Ben, because it is pushing through, isn't it? It's going against maybe what even your emotions feel.
Yeah.
And pushing through.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, and at the end of the day, it's faith anyway. So like, you might not ever get angels singing in the bedroom or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might never actually have a physical encounter with God where you think, oh, right, he's definitely real. But it's sort of persevering through that faith and not getting disheartened if you feel distant, but instead just seeking after God. And
that faith must be something that really touches the Lord's heart, that then he responds in giving you the courage. Because it doesn't necessarily mean, does it, that once you make that stand, that every time you don't compromise, everything's going to be perfect and nobody's going to make fun of you.
Oh yeah, no. It doesn't mean that every time that situation pops up that you're immediately just like, no, I'm a Christian. Like, it is still difficult every time.
Yeah.
And it's never easy.
And it's awkward and a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes.
Like, yeah. But
and you've still got all the feelings, haven't you? Like all the feelings of embarrassment or of feeling unpopular or
just different, I suppose.
Nobody wants to be different. You want to sort of blend in, but it is just
So I want you just to give us some advice. Give us all some advice on what we can,
is that a
us
good
old
thing?
people, on Dad's stress
This would never normally happen.
Advise him on his shirt.
Mum and Dad asking me for advice is definitely a new
No, this is what we do all the time, Ben.
There's a first for everything, Ben.
Yeah.
Right. So advice for old people like your dad, and me, on how what can we do to help you guys? Because I do think one of the things watching you through that time was you did keep putting yourself in good situations. You weren't seeking God, but then really running after the world's ways. That you were still going to church and putting yourself in situations where God could ignite something in you in that seeking time.
Well, I guess that's it. Like, during that time, my friends might be going out or they might be whatever else, but then I'd be at church, like leading worship or something. And that would sort of push me on further, if that makes sense. So it's not just like, when you make that stand, it's not a case of just praying a prayer to God and then just occasionally reading your Bible or whatever, like doing practical things.
You've got to pursue it, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like pursue different giftings you might have or whatever else.
Yeah.
Try and build relationships with people in your church. Yeah.
But you also had some good guys around you, didn't you? Older guys who were able to sort of speak into your life a bit and help and just encourage you along, weren't they?
Yeah. And to be honest, the whole older generation thing, especially when you guys say it and I hear it, it makes me think of like grandparents. But that's not the case at all. Like, it's just people which are a bit more experienced than you are.
Mm-hmm.
People that have been through what you're going through at the moment.
Yeah.
That can see what you're struggling with and then can sort of draw from what they went through.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like, and to be honest, it helps having different people. So it's not just like, I mean, it's like mentoring, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But like I've never officially seeked out a mentor or whatever. I've never gone up to somebody with a ring and got on a knee and said, "Will you be my mentor?" Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I think people just sort of look out for you a bit, and they sort of so with the worship, for example, some of the older worship leaders that were in church would help me. They'd, you know, give me feedback, positive feedback or negative, but they'd say it in a loving way, and or they'd just help me with different things. If I had questions, I could go to them and ask them.
Yeah.
And then there's other people which might be sort of from a more general thing. They might sort of check up on you and say, "Oh, how you doing?" So I guess if you're listening to this and you're sort of thinking, "Oh, how can I help these young people that clearly need so much help? They don't end up like Ben." Then yeah, like mentor them, look out for them,
get alongside them.
Yeah,
I do wonder whether people are reluctant to do it because they think, "Well, I'm old, and what do I know?" But you haven't got to know it all, have you? It's just about care, isn't it? I think
even if you've never been through that situation that they're going through, just being there for them, just having wisdom that you do have, even if you don't think you do because you've lived longer than they have. Therefore, you've been through more. Like,
yeah.
So,
and I think reaching out, like, because the thing is in a church, you've got the young people and they all huddle together, don't you? And then you've got the old people and the people our age and stuff. But I think the more that we can keep getting outside of these boxes, because your friends, like, we'll chat to your friends and they always really want to chat to us and they like it.
Well, we think they do.
We don't know.
This might be the great
like
delusion.
They actually hate you, but yeah.
But you like it, Ben. You're a chatter and you love it when people in church from grandparents.
If an older person came up to me, it's not like I'd be like, "Oh my goodness, who are they?" Like, you're making me look uncool. Like, yeah, I love it. Like, you're getting to know different people, and in my eyes, they're the same as a young person.
Yeah.
Like, it's not weird to talk to them. If anything, they're probably more helpful because they'll actually sort of be able to help you. So
and give advice.
Yeah,
and just from their lives, like, you learn so much, don't you? From other people's lives and their stories, and just being friendly and warm to you, I think can really be a good thing. But the massive thing is praying for people, younger generation, because at the end of the day, we keep going on about the younger generation, like there's huge pressure. But Ben, people like you are going to be the
next Prime Minister. Watch out.
You're going to be the Davids and the Esthers and the Moses and the people in the Bible of this next and it really is going to need people like you with backbone and with strength and courage, because there's a lot of compromise, and a lot of compromise that's not just in the world but is in the church as well. So we've really got to pray for you and your friends and people like you and our neighbours and all the young people around us.
Don't you think we need to probably just examine our own heart a little bit as well, though? Because we do end up with these generalizations, don't we? Like, young people can sort of feel a bit fed up about old people because they're old, and older people can look at the younger generation and say, well, they're not living like we used to live and they're not doing things the way it should be done. And we can sort of just judge in a really unhelpful way. And then in doing that, you sort of write people off. But what you're talking about, Ben, is we just one family together here, and and all the ages work together. That's the way God's body works the best, actually, when you got the young and old together without those sort of prejudged views of each other.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like people, if older people are sort of judging younger people, they might be like, oh, they're young, they can't do this or they can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but in a church, you know, it's good for the young people to get involved as much as they can and to sort of push themselves and to try different things to see where they fit.
Yeah.
But obviously, if the older people, older generation or whatever, don't want that to happen, then they can't. So it is sort of down to them
to release them. Yeah.
And also just to push them a bit, because like I personally wouldn't have ever picked up my guitar and got on stage and led worship if I hadn't had older generation push me to do it.
Right.
Like nothing about that appealed to me. But then because they were there helping me with it and they said, oh yeah, you'd be good at that, you can do that, then you know, it's how you sort of develop.
They believed in you. And the same thing happens at Alal with our Undivided, doesn't it? The young people, and we throw them in the deep end and get them to share devotions. And honestly, I think there's something about people your age that get under people like our age and older under the radar, and God can really you probably don't see it, but there's an innocence and a purity that's in youth, a passion that impacts our lives. And then there's the wisdom and all of that we can give you, Ben.
You can try.
But we do need to avoid lecturing, don't we? I think we just don't need to be speaking down.
Yeah, so obviously young people, they're trying to figure stuff out for themselves, and the older generation I'm sure their intentions are to help all the time. Like, I don't think I've ever met an older person which has been a certain way just because they wanted to, like, be mean to me or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But, like, I guess it's just the way that you do things. So, obviously, as a young person, you don't know a lot. You are still learning. So, you need quite a lot of grace in that.
Yeah.
And then the stuff which you are doing might be different to what the older generation has done before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's important to sort of leave the room to sort of grow and develop on our own, but just with a bit of input. Yeah. So not lecturing, not, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should do that. But instead just, oh, maybe next time do this. Oh, it might be good if you did this. Oh, whatever else.
Just gives room then for you to grow as an individual and even to be able to mess it up sometimes, and if you had somebody alongside that could help and guide through that even.
Well, they say that's the best way to grow, isn't it? To sort of make a mistake. It's like babies, they touch an iron and then they'll never touch an iron again, will they? Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe not babies, children. Children will touch an iron.
I don't think children should touch irons.
Well, that's an example I've heard before.
We'll lecture you on parenting when you get there, Ben.
Yeah.
I honestly think that prayer is the thing that is going to change.
The answer.
It is the answer, and it's what's going to equip you, Ben, and your friends and your age group and all of those that are coming up behind us. And I think it's our responsibility to really take that seriously, that we need to be praying for you and cheering you on. I think that's the thing that comes to me, like encouraging you and speaking life to you and getting out of our comfort zone to actually reach out to people like your age. And
having compassion too on the pressures that there are, and patience, and that encouragement along the way is so important. I think prayer being the key. All right, well, as we wrap it up, Ben, would you pray for us? That'd be great.
I can do. Just first, I've just remembered I had a verse which I was going to share earlier.
All right,
but I got a bit carried away.
Very good.
So I've forgotten. But it was when we were talking about making a stand, and it's something which did help me through this. Is verse. So it's Joshua chapter 1 verse 9, and it says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And I guess it's just that thing that even if you are making a stand, even if you are going against the current of the world, you're not doing it alone. Even though you might feel like you are, you're not. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just pray. Dear Lord, I just pray for everyone out there, Lord, whether they're young and they're feeling lonely and isolated and like they're a strange fish in the pond compared to everyone else, Lord. I pray that you would just give them the strength that they need to make a stand, Lord, and to make you the priority in their life. And for the older generation, Lord, for the people that have been through that, I pray you'd give them the courage as well, and the wisdom just to sort of come alongside those people and mentor them through it and help them through it and be there for them. Amen.
Amen. Brilliant. Thank you, Ben.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You
lads.
survived your first podcast with us. Next week.
Next week. Yeah. Are we doing a spin-off podcast? We talked about that. Let's talk with Ben.
Let's talk with Ben.
Yeah. We get enough views.
It's gone to his head.
A daily podcast with Ben.
Daily. Full-time job.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast with our boy Ben.
Podcast.
And thank you, Ben. And we'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks for joining us for Let's Talk with Andy and Cath Taylor, a podcast from LL Ministries. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a review or by contacting us at hello@ll.org or through Facebook. You can subscribe and share these episodes through Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we also have other excellent resources online at ll.org, which we hope you will enjoy. Thanks again for listening.